Hello and welcome back to the Wee Lorda channel. Today we're going to be making a delicious creamy traditional fish pie. I absolutely love this recipe. It's such a nice base recipe if you want to add in extra things, and it's just a really nice cozy traditional recipe for this time of year. My kids absolutely loved it. I think it lasted us like 2 days. It was so much fish pie. So if you're just making for less people, you could have this recipe. This fed like 6 people, which includes a toddler, so 5.5 because my other kids are like they're eating like they're adults now. So so if you're only feeding like 2 or 3, you could have the recipe and get away with that, because it does use a kilo of fish, or 950 grams I think it is, in this recipe, so it is quite a lot of fish. One thing you could do is you could swap some of the white fish for smoked fish. You could also add in some prawns, and I would take some of the fish out of the quantity or the amount that you need. You could also add in some chopped scallops and even some sweet corn or peas as well. So if you're a member over on Patreon, you can pick up the recipe card over there. You can print it or save it to your phone. I've also uploaded some lovely phone what do you call them? phone backgrounds up there as well lately, so pop over and download those onto your phone. Some lovely Scottish wintry scenes. So let's get started on our delicious traditional fish pie. So for this lovely traditional creamy fish pie, we're going to need these ingredients here. Now, as I said before, if you want to swap some of that quantity of cooked haddock out for other cooked items, fishy items, then you can do. So I'm just going to start by cooking the fish up in a pan. So I'm just cooking it up in a little bit of milk here. I didn't actually add that in the quantity of ingredients. You can also do cook it in a little bit of stock if you want to as well. We're just going to boil the eggs in the background there too. So I like to go through my fish once it is cooked to double check for bones. I mean, really, you don't have to do this. You can check before you put your fish into the pan. But my fish was still a little bit frozen when I did that, so I had to double check afterwards. I just like to do that because I've got a wee one that I'm feeding this to, so I really don't want any bones upsetting her. So we're going to boil up our tatties there with a wee bit of salt, and we're just going to be mashing those down with some milk and butter as well. So I'm just going to tidy up here in the background. I tend to make quite a mess when I am cooking. So we're going to add all of our cooked fish into our tray here. Now you might have a mixture of things in here like yellow haddock, smoked haddock, you might have some king prawns, some scallop pieces, some mussels even, just whatever you fancy. If you can't get haddock, you can use another type of white fish as well. So just use whatever you have available in your area. I'm just breaking it up a little bit here just so that it is all kind of even chunks. It kind of has broken up quite well in the cooking anyway. So we're going to add some salt and a good dose of pepper on there too. We're just going to give that a wee stir through. Obviously you can use a spoon to stir yours. I am just using whatever is to hand here. So I'm just going to give it a wee stir through, and I'm then going to add in the chopped egg. So you can chop it up as small as you want. Mine's is fairly chunky. I like a wee bit of texture in here. And this is a good time to add in some peas and sweet corn if you want to as well. A little bit of parsley like I'm doing here. And you can also add in some cooked prawns at this stage too if you want to as well. This makes quite a big quantity of fish pie. I mean, there's 5.5 of us. I like to say 5.5. But we kind of got maybe 1.5 meals out of it or so. So it was kind of like a supper, and then we had it for lunch the next day as well in smaller portions. So we're going to make our sauce by melting all of our butter down in our pan here, and we're then going to be adding in our flour. So you can sift it through if you want to as well. We're just going to give that a really good stir. Please excuse my whisk, it's not the best one. Or I didn't have the best one available in the drawer. So we're just going to cook this down for about 5 minutes or so, just on a medium heat. Just keep stirring to get all the lumps out. And we're then going to add in our milk really slowly. Now, I actually added my milk in a little bit too quick, and I actually ended up being a teeny bit lumpy, but never mind. Still came out super delicious. So if you want to just add in your milk really slowly, then you're probably going to get less lumps than what I had when I was finished making my sauce. I mean, I'm not a perfectionist in the kitchen. I just do my best. I'm not an expert cook either. I'm just passionate about traditional Scottish food, so don't say anything nasty in the comments, please. So it should be quite thick, thicker than like double cream kind of consistency that we're looking for, and just added a wee bit of salt and pepper in there as well, just to give it a season. If you're using smoked fish, just be careful with how much salt and pepper you're adding in things, because smoked fish can be quite salty already, so you don't want to add too much salt into the other elements of the dish. So we're going to pour our sauce over the top there. Super delicious. I absolutely love this sauce. Everybody wants to scrape the pan as well once I'm finished making it. So we're just going to give that a good stir through to make sure that the sauce is reaching all the corners of the dish. So we've preheated our oven as well to 160. That's a fan oven that I'm using. You might need it a little bit higher than that. And we're going to be baking this for about 20 to 25 minutes or so. We're just looking for a nice golden brown crust over the tatties once we've added those on. So I'm going to set that aside to cool a little just while I am mashing up my tatties. So I've got a wee bit of salt and pepper on them here, and we're just going to mash them with my masher. And I think I maybe added a wee bit of butter in here as well. I'm not sure if I caught that on film, but I've added a wee splash of milk in there. We're just going to get them nice and creamy, not too soft, or just whatever consistency you want. And you can peel them if you want to as well, but I really don't mind leaving the skins on for this, and it's all good as well. So we're just going to very gently put our tatties on top, and we're then going to use a fork to, again, very gently just score the top of the dish. It doesn't need to be anything too fancy. It just makes it nice and crispy, and I like to add a wee sprinkle of cheese on the top here as well. You don't have to, and it's not in the traditional old recipes, but it just adds a really nice crust on the top, so I like to do that as well. So we're going to do a wee sprinkle of parsley again, more for looks than anything, to be honest. So you don't have to add the parsley on. And we're going to add a wee sprinkle of grated cheddar on the top there too. So I've used a really nice strong cheddar. And we're then going to pop that into our oven for 20 to 25 minutes. So just keep a close eye. Obviously, everything is already cooked in here. We're really just crisping up the tatties on the top. It should look something like this when it is finished. So it's nice and golden brown on the edges of the tatties, and we have some nice melty cheese on the top there as well. And it is, of course, time to serve. So I love to serve this up with roasted vegetables in the winter. If you're making it in the warmer months, you could serve it up with a nice salad. It really is a hearty dish, and it's such a nice supper to have in the winter months. So as you can see, everything is nice and creamy, super delicious, and it stores really well in the fridge afterwards if you need to keep the extras. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope it was as delicious as ours was. And if you did add in some egg prawns or scallops or change the fish up a little bit, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your combinations. I can't remember if I said in the intro, but salmon also works well in here as well. So if you want to like half do half salmon, half haddock. Or another thing is as well, if you can't get haddock, you can use another white fish, so just whatever you have to hand will work in this recipe. So if you haven't subscribed and you want to keep in touch, click the subscribe button and the little bell next to it. And if you're over on Instagram, pop over and say hello. And I'll put a link down below to my membership page as well, where you can print out my recipes and you can save them to your phone as well. And there's lots of other goodies over there too. So I think that's it from me. Take care and lots of love. Bye bye.